I've selected a passenger who's just arrived from America. He's come here for a 15-day stay. He appears very nervous.
Bobby is an unemployed factory worker from Indiana.
And everything that you're carrying today belongs to you? Yes?
Yes.
Excellent. And have you got your airline ticket?
Except one thing,
Which is what?
It's still here. I've got an engagement ring in that.
Fantastic. So for some lucky lady in Australia, I guess?
Yeah.
That's very good.
He's unusually nervous, more than I would expect.
Boarding passes.
Where will you be staying?
That's just it. I haven't got a motel or anything yet. Yeah.
Now, is she aware that you're coming to Australia?
No, she lives here.
She lives here?
I don't have her address.
How come?
I can't pronounce it.
Yeah, right.
So I never could spell it.
That's all right. But you do have it written down in your diary?
Somewhere.
Somewhere?
Yeah, and I didn't bring it with me.
You didn't bring the diary with you?
No, that's why I was going to look for a phone book. See, it should be in the book, hopefully.
And how did you meet this lady?
Well, really, we haven't met yet.
You haven't met
over the internet.
It's very interesting. He's only got $600 in cash. He's here to propose to his girlfriend, but he's not staying with her. And he hasn't got an address of where, just about to start the bag exam, but I wanted you to be here.
How you doing, sir?
That's fine.
All right, so what brings you to Australia on this occasion?
I just met someone over the internet.
You met this lady on the internet how long ago?
Oh, man, it's been about a year.
About a year? Are you staying with her or are you going to the hotel? Which one is it?
That's what I don't know. I'm going to check with her. I'm wanting to go stay with her, but if I don't see her, I'll have to get a motel till I find her.
Okay, what's her name?
Charity. That's what it is. Charity.
And her surname? You don't know?
Van Dyer.
Oh, okay. How do you spell?
Charissati.
Okay. And she's going to be out here waiting for you. Okay. That's your engagement ring, is it?
Yeah. What's it?
Does she know anything about it? You're a bit nervous. Is there a reason for it?
Yeah, because that's why I was meeting. I've never.
You're very nervous.
Yeah. Well, wouldn't you be?
At this stage, he's carrying $94 in US. He's got 500 Australian. He's got an engagement ring for a girl here that he's met on the internet. According to him, she is waiting outside.
I'll explain to you what my major concern is here. The visa that you currently hold is only intended for people that are coming here as tourists, okay, for a short term. If you're intending on marrying somebody here, honestly, my major concern is that you're actually going to try and stay in Australia, which is completely against the conditions of your visa. The other thing that concerns me is that you don't have work in the States, which, you know, in combination with your financial situation, then I have to have the natural concern that you may be actually engaging in some sort of work while you're here to support yourself. Is that her card to you?
Yeah, that's a card to me. She must have
bag.
stuck it in my bag before I left.
Back in customs, it seems that love-struck Bobby has come with some excess
We're
baggage.
still friends. That's my ex-wife.
Oh, it's your ex-wife, okay. And how long have you been divorced?
Well, it's not really finalized yet. We've been separated for, I'd say, probably about 8-9 months.
And is that something that Charity knows? She
Yeah.
knows, yeah. So can you legally actually get married to her? Or is that the reason this is
Not
only...
yet.
Not
That's
yet.
why there's no date set.
What does she
That's
do
where,
here?
She works at Ford Company. She's Polynesian.
Does she have children here? Is she... No?
No, she's
How
single.
old is she?
29.
Okay. What I'm going to do before I can actually let you go is I'm going to try and see if I can locate her outside. Okay, just to basically confirm some of the things that you've said to me. If I can't find her outside, then I'll try giving her a call. I was actually wondering if you could just page someone for me. Miss Van Dyer.
Miss
Van Dyer.
Miss Van Dyer.
Just a visitor.
Attention please, Miss Van Dyer. Please contact the Traveller's Information Desk. Please contact the Traveller's Information Desk.
With no one to vouch for him, Bobby might not be let into Australia.
Okay, no answer. Well, she's not outside, and that phone is switched off. So, just for clarification, you said that she wasn't sure as to exactly when you'd be coming, is that right?
She knew when I was going to come. She didn't know if I was going to show up or not, because I kept saying one time I would, and then next time I wasn't.
Went forward to a manufacturing plant, and they've got no record of her working there. Does she work in a dealership?
Or does she work for the...
No, she worked for Ford. She said Ford company.
The phone number comes up negative, and I've had no luck identifying the female. Over.
I've got a feeling that she hasn't given him the real name because, like, the name's a little bit different.
We still can't locate her.
I could probably do it a lot better than you could, though. Well, I'm good at finding people.
That concerns me a little bit, to tell you the truth.
Back in the city, it was so hard.
A ring for her, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. I get the impression that you're being honest with me, at least. I don't know if the situation between the two of you is quite what you think it is, okay? Because the fact that she's not here and the fact that she has her mobile phone switched off doesn't exactly tell me like she's running into your arms, if you know what I mean. I'm going to let you through today, okay? Purely on the basis that you've got that $500 Australian and that $500 US, okay? And that it'll hopefully get you through the couple of weeks that you're intending to be here.
Quite feel sorry for the gentleman. I mean, she's not here, and I think he's quite disappointed that she's not here. He's got an engagement ring, and I hope he does find her.
There's no sure thing, but apples fall where they may.
Bobby couldn't find his internet love. He flew home with the engagement ring the next day.
I gather in my brief conversation with him that he's here to meet a long-term internet girlfriend. He's never been to Australia before. They've never actually met before, but apparently known one another for 10 years. So why he's decided to come now, we'll try and establish that.
Border Force Officer Jamie will formally interview the man to determine if he will be allowed to enter the country.
So what's your intention in Tasmania? Are you...
Just to visit her and then to bring gifts to her kids.
Okay.
And spend some time with her and then go back to America. And then she's probably going to be coming to America
to Denver?
To live.
Okay. So is she an Australian citizen?
Yeah.
The man says he will marry his online love named Anna, who is divorced from her husband who mistreated her, and that her 3 children will also be moving to America.
Citizen. So
she has a 9-year-old
and
she has twins that are 2.
Is Anna would you regard her as your girlfriend?
I would regard her as my fiance.
Your fiance. Is it unusual that you'd be planning a future with someone you haven't actually met?
I guess, but I know her as good as anybody else. Anybody can know somebody.
So what's the
It's an unusual story, and Border Force officers need to speak to Anna to try and get the answers to some important questions.
If she's aware of the visit, if she knows who the gentleman is, and if she's prepared to take care of him while he's in Australia.
If Officer Jamie can confirm that she is expecting him,
Anna, this is Border Force at
the
Brisbane
passenger
Airport.
could soon be finally meeting his internet love of the last 10 years in person.
Anna, I'm just calling you in regard to a US citizen that's arrived today. If you could call me back urgently.
It seems Anna isn't answering her phone.
It doesn't bode well for the gentleman.
But the passenger, Pete, is not worried.
Have you spoken to her on that mobile number?
It's really hard for me to contact her from America. Only talk to her maybe once a week or something like that at best.
While he waits for Anna to respond to his voice message, Officer Jamie turns his attention to another concern: the passenger's lack of funds.
You didn't actually pay for this trip, did you?
I didn't pay for
So,
it.
The man explains he lives with his mum in Denver and needed financial help to get here.
what would your income be per week?
About $1,500 a week.
Would it not have been possible for you to come to Australia with your own funds?
He then reveals the shocking reason why he has no money.
No, I support her, so most of my money goes to that.
So what is your...
In a startling admission, the passenger claims he has sent Anna money on a regular basis throughout their decade-long relationship. But when Officer Jamie tries once again to reach Anna, he is unsuccessful.
Your story sort of hinges on Anna. We need to contact her to really confirm some of the details you've provided us. Without contact on her, we might have to make a decision based on what we've got in front of us. Now, we have no confirmation about your funds.
The man is carrying only $6 in cash, but says he has money in a bank account.
What are my available funds?
Finally, it's some good news for the passenger.
I'm happy that you've got access to $1,700, so we'll end it there.
It's sufficient funds for his 12-day stay, and Officer Jamie also confirms that the passenger, Pete, has somewhere to stay in Tasmania.
Thank you, you too. Bye-bye. Bye. Yep, that confirms that his accommodation has been booked and paid for 12 days.
It appears Pete is telling the truth, but there are lingering concerns as to why the woman he has come all this way to see can't be reached.
I'm having some difficulty getting hold of Anna. Can you think of why, or do you have an alternative number?
I don't know why. Well, they're her technology. I can't get through.
Well, it's a mobile phone. I mean, can you send her a text message now?
And maybe ask her to call you? Yeah.
So they try and contact Anna directly on the passenger's phone.
Can you put in there urgently?
It's sent.
There's really not much more I can do now. Give it 10 or 15 minutes, see if she actually does call back, but...
Maybe you could call... Oh, you might be able to call Natasha. I don't know her number.
Who's Natasha?
That's where we send money to when we send money to Anna because she doesn't have an ID. Anna doesn't have an ID. So we have to send money to Natasha's for her to pick up for
When you say we, who are you referring to?
me and my mom.
You and your mum, okay. Is it mainly your mother's money?
No, mainly mine.
With this new information, Officer Jamie strongly suspects that this trusting passenger may be headed for heartbreak.
Have you ever Skyped Anna?
No. No, just talked to her on phone and texts and stuff.
She never sent you a photograph?
I haven't sent her a photograph of me either.
Interesting.
Alarm bells are ringing after the passenger, Pete, revealed that the money he sends to Anna is collected by her friend, Natasha.
So, Natasha's your normal point of contact, yep, for the money?
For the money.
About approximately how much in total would you have sent? Just as a rough estimate, what would you say?
I don't know. Tens of thousands.
Has it occurred to you that the story that these girls have told you may not be quite as it seems?
Yeah, I know, but a lot of people have doubted the whole story, and I continue to just trust.
Border Force officers are not as trusting, but with sufficient funds, accommodation booked and a return ticket, a decision is made to allow the passenger to travel on to Tasmania, where hopefully Anna will be waiting. But Supervising Officer Chris is not so sure.
I think he's a very trusting man who unfortunately has been caught up in what appears to be a scam and has come out to Australia to actually meet the person that he thought he'd known for the last 10 years and has been sending money to on a regular basis. And in his eyes, she actually exists and lives in Tasmania, but it appears that she may not.
With still no response from Anna or her friend Natasha, the passenger remains positive about the outcome.
Once I get there, that'll be the solidifying or the one way or the other. Either it's real and I've connected with her, I've seen her, I have pictures now or all this stuff, you know, I've got cameras. Or I'll go to America and I'll realize that I'm not gonna have to send money anymore.
Pete's flight home from Tasmania will bring him back via Melbourne, and Border Force officers will check in with him on his return in 12 days.
The whole purpose was coming to meet Anna. That was it. That's why I came. That's why a friend of mine paid for plane tickets and a hotel for me to meet Anna. I was in my mind, I was envisioning seeing her kids, spending time with her, starting my family, starting being a father, being a husband. So it looks like for now it's been postponed.
When he got to Tasmania, Anna wasn't there.
At 8:30.
Yeah,
Wow.
35 minutes.
Wow.
But incredibly, her friend Natasha was, and she told Pete that Anna and her children had left the state a couple of days earlier.
Didn't find her. Nope. My emotions are up and down. Yesterday, I went to the store and saw fishing poles. Her son likes to fish. I cried in the store, you know, wishing that I could be with this boy. And you know, when he was 3 years old, it's the only time I ever talked to him, and I told him I wanted to be his dad, you know, to be his father and to be Anna's husband. And everybody's against me. Oh, you know, quit sending money, blah, blah, blah. I can't. She's an investment now to me, you know, she's my family. I'm going home today, going back to work, supporting Anna. She's the most important thing in the world to me.
Today, in Sydney, Australian Border Force officers have pulled aside an American citizen for a bag search. It's her second trip to Sydney in the last 6 months, and officers want to know the reason for her visits.
She's been here once before for 25 days, but doesn't sound like she really did a lot while she was here. So we wanted to explain her previous trip in a bit more depth.
It's nice. It's a really nice place here. So I like it, and I met a lot of people. I guess I was just different. People knew I wasn't from here, so they were really nice to me. So I had a lot of fun.
Okay, good to know.
Hopefully it's gonna be another fun trip. And someone said I need to go and visit a place called Blue Mountain. I didn't get a chance to do it the last time I was here.
When you said you went bushwalking,
To the national park.
Okay, which national park?
I don't even remember the names. But I know we went to a national park and we, you know, what they call bushwalking.
So when did you apply for your visa to come over here?
Wow. It was done online.
When?
For me. A while ago.
I mean, how long is a while ago?
It's probably been over 6 months.
Over 6 months ago?
Yeah.
Okay. So...
Or probably less, I'm not even sure. I'm not 100% sure. I don't want to lie to you. I'm not sure at all.
You're not sure. So who applied for your visa? Did you do it yourself or somebody else?
No, someone did it online for me.
Do you know who this person was? Because they need to have your personal details in order to apply for you.
Yeah.
Do you know who did it?
That was Paul. Paul.
She claims that Paul is a friend, and the main reason for her last trip to Australia was to visit him. But she seems remarkably unsure about any other details.
Do you know what kind of visa you're on? Like tourist visa, employment visa?
Is there any way you can look it up? I'm not sure. I didn't apply for it. I gave Paul like all my information. And I'm not even sure what type of visa he applied for me.
So he did it for you again this time?
Yeah. No, not this time.
The woman explains that this trip is not to visit Paul, but another man named Peter. But when questioned further, she knows very little about him, including where he actually lives.
I don't know. I don't really know like the difference yet. I'm still learning.
Okay,
the difference between like the different neighborhoods in Sydney. Like Sydney is like different than, you know, Melbourne. And yeah, I'm still learning.
But you know, usually what people do is when they go to another country, they go on the internet, they find out, okay, this is the city I want to go to, this is all the things I want to look at, I can stay there. And Sydney is different from Melbourne.
Yeah.
And how far away they're from each other.
The last time I had someone to drive me everywhere, like I was dropped off at places, like I never really knew like, oh, this is such and such neighborhood, or this is a certain different part of a neighborhood. I just never really knew. I went to like, even like the malls.
With things not quite adding up, a swab is taken of the lining of her suitcase to check for any traces of narcotics.
Some things I did alone, and I just had, you know, the rides drop me off because I was scared to drive over here because it's different than back home.
Officers strongly suspect this passenger has something to hide. And this test may help in finding out exactly what it is. But a swab test from the lining of her suitcase fails to find any traces of narcotics.
My shoes.
Thank you. Actually got them from here the last time I was here.
As the search continues, the X-ray of her case gets the all clear. But then Officer Atisma locates a document which indicates why the woman may really be here.
She doesn't. Now she suddenly remembers, oh, I have to go to Perth. I didn't know.
We can finish the bag search. There's some items in the bag search that aren't really consistent with a stated reason for travel. We found this letter that indicates that there may be a little bit more to this than a general passenger on holidays. So she hasn't got a ticket to Perth?
No.
So what's the plan? She comes to you, calls someone, and they organise everything?
That's right.
The letter, which is addressed Hello Slave, implies that the woman may be a professional sex worker who's here for an arranged encounter with a man in Perth for the next 7 days, where she's agreed to be his submissive.
Right. Was she here last time for that as well?
Did you engage in any of this last time?
Say that again?
Were you here for this reason last time as well?
Not for that specific reason, but I did see somebody 2 days when I was here, yeah.
You did? Mm-hmm. Okay. Did you receive money for that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
And that was my spending money at the time I was here.
How much money did you receive?
About $800.
Okay. How much are you going to receive for this?
I don't know. I have no clue yet.
Okay, but you're going to get paid?
Probably so. Okay. Probably spending money, dinner. You know, if I want to go shopping, they'll take me out sightseeing. Mm-hmm. Everything. Like if I don't want to stay with them, they'll put me up in a hotel for a few days.
Okay.
They'll make sure I get back to the airport safe. All those things. They're just really nice.
And why didn't you tell me all of this before you were making all that story
you didn't really ask me details of like, you know,
I was asking you a lot of details.
I'm just gonna have fun, basically.
As I was asking you before, all I want is you to be honest with me.
I'm sorry, I didn't know like that was a big deal.
No, I just want to know what
I've never
you were doing
been, I've been here
before and what you're doing now.
I didn't have this
And
problem.
this is obviously not what you told me you were doing.
No, because I'm here to have fun. This is just a plus.
Okay.
If she is being paid for the encounter described in the letter, it is a serious breach of the no-work condition of her tourist visa.
So from here, we're going to refer her to some of our colleagues who are going to investigate a bit more into her visa conditions and whether she's going to comply with her visa status.
Let's go, please.
Convinced that the woman is not being entirely honest, she will now be taken away for further investigation so that officers can work out what is really going on.
Do you have citizenship or permanent residence in any other country besides the US?
No.
Have you ever been known by any other names?
Diamond.
And what do you do back in your home country?
I'm home nurse.
A home nurse. Okay, so do you know anyone in Australia?
Yes.
Who?
Paul. Peter.
Who's Paul?
She tells Officer Alicia her last trip to Australia was spent with Paul. But this time she will be staying with a different man named Peter.
So what's the nature of your relationship with Peter?
We're friends.
Okay, is there a romantic relationship there?
No.
Not at all? Okay. You were here last time for how long?
Like 20 days or 20-something days. I don't remember exactly how many days. I know it was like 20-something.
And what did you do in those 20 days?
I walked the bridge. We seen the oh gosh, I can't even think. They done asked me these questions so many times. It's like,
which bridge was that?
Do you guys? Oh my gosh, and I just can't think. Like I've been asked these questions 4, 5, 6 times, and I'm exhausted. I haven't slept in over 24 hours.
Okay.
What are the landmarks? Oh gosh. Every time I say it, everyone else knew, but.
So what does the bridge look like, or the landmarks that you have seen?
What is the, oh gosh, I hate this. I'm just really going blank.
What, is there any particular colour that the bridge is, or is there anything
huge,
that's
it's just huge. And I walked it, and we had to walk back, and it took like 30 minutes, an hour. What is the name? No, you know it.
Was there anything surrounding the bridge?
what's the one bridge everybody come here to visit, to see?
But what were the surroundings like around the bridge?
Everything here looks the same. It's not my hometown. Everything looks the same. Trees and water and...
Yeah. Was it over a road, the bridge, or?
I can't remember, so let's just skip that question.
This passenger is going to have to do a lot better if she wants to convince Officer Alicia that she is a genuine tourist here just for a holiday.
I'd like to speak to you about this letter that was found in your baggage. Are you aware of the contents of this letter?
I haven't really read it all, so I don't really know the details or anything until I talk to my friends here.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you to read that letter now. Thank you.
Addressed Hello Slave, the letter goes into great detail of a mutually agreed encounter that she will have with a man named Michael in Perth for the next 7 days.
Okay.
It tells her what to wear and what she must say as his submissive when she meets him, and it is signed Master.
Okay, so can you explain it?
There's not much to explain. What this is saying is that I'm going to meet with a friend, Michael, tomorrow. And we're going to have dinner and we're going to do some touristy things and yeah.
Is that all that letter says in your...
I mean, it says a lot more, but I mean...
Yeah, so I'm going to spell it out to you in black and white. It's basically, it appears that it looks like it's some job situation, yes.
50 Shades of Grey, I'm embarrassed.
Don't be embarrassed. Look, we see everything all the time. Nothing really shocks us, trust me, all right?
I'm so embarrassed.
So is that the nature of your relationship with Michael?
Well, we're going to meet and socialize first.
Okay, so have you met Michael before?
Only through, phone.
Okay, so you've not physically met Michael before?
Officer Alicia is not concerned with what the woman does privately whilst she's here. Her only concern is if she's getting paid for it.
So I'm going to ask you straight out, is this, did they pay you for any exchange of sexual favours or anything like that? No. Is there an agency involved or some that's, helping you to get in contact with?
This strictly was just a friend situation. Like, I met him through Peter. I haven't physically met him, but
You met Michael through...
Peter.
So with anyone in Australia, have you had a relationship of this nature before when you've been here last?
No.
Okay.
But her claim that it's all just a bit of fun looks doubtful, as Border Force Officer Claire discovers information which suggests there may be a lot more to the woman's story.
So she's a submissive. She's all over the submissive websites in America. She's got a boss in America, or a pimp, she calls him Bill Gates.
Yes, I saw that in the emails.
Now, he's organised for her to come to Australia to work with Peter. And Peter has, as it says here, Peter may have a client in Australia for you to work for next week. All right? I talked to Peter. He said to contact him as soon as possible. He said, don't worry about the money. We'll put it in your account and talk to him about making this so it's not going to affect my pay. All right? So she's been subcontracted by Peter through her boss, Bill Gates. Now, her submissive name is either Blue Diamond or Black Diamond.
Okay, she said she's got a nickname by Diamond.
She has a lot of promo photography in terms of her being Blue Diamond.
Her claim that she is just here for a holiday looks increasingly dubious.
So I'm assuming he found Michael. And
he did. It sounds like it, but she's not admitting anything at this point.
No.
Now, convinced Sarita is not being completely honest, officers discuss what the next step should be.
So I asked her whether she's done any of the 50 Shades work in Australia, and last time, and she stated no.
Okay, she denied it.
Yeah, she's denied it, and I've asked her whether she's done any of this type of work before, previously in America, and she said no.
Okay.
So it's all denial. Do you think that I need to confront her with the evidence that Claire has?
I believe so.
Yeah. Okay.
I believe so. We have found a number of text messages here If one of those says, contact Peter first thing in the morning, he may have more clients that want to see you.
Officer Alicia will now confront the passenger with the evidence to see if she will admit what she is really doing in Australia.
Sarita, we have gone through your phone extensively. We've found quite a few messages which indicate that you are working as a sub.
This time. Not here.
But I asked you if you've done that kind of work overseas.
I don't know. Maybe, yeah, I guess. If it's a friend and somebody I'm involved with, I don't think it's work.
You don't think it's work?
No, if I'm just a friend and we're experimenting with things, it's not work.
Okay. Now's the time to just come clean about everything, okay? Because you're tired, otherwise this interview process will just be drawn out. So just come clean and be honest about everything, all right? Who's Bill Gates?
That's a friend.
And all these messages with Bill Gates is basically talking about working in Australia as a sub.
Okay.
And that Peter is your contact and he is your master in Australia. Is that all correct?
He's not my master. He really is a friend though. But some of that is correct, yes.
So what part of it is correct?
Peter's a friend. And I was coming to meet somebody, possibly. And I would get the details when I got here. That's why I don't know all the details of this. They don't give you any information. Except for like the things that, that was forwarded to me.
With this admission, it appears she may not be here as a genuine tourist.
I'll read it out to you, I'll issue it, and then you'll have 10 minutes to respond.
A notice of intention to consider cancelling her visa is issued, and Sarita is given 10 minutes to come up with a good reason as to why she should be allowed to enter Australia.
Sarita, do you have a response to that notice of intention to consider cancelling your visa?
I don't really think that it should. I would never come over here intentionally to do something wrong. This is a beautiful place. I just think I need to be more aware of what I'm being invited to.
Failing to dispute the claim that she is not here as a genuine tourist, a final decision is made and the passenger is informed.
Okay. So, Sarita, based upon the interview and all the evidence that we have found today, I've taken your response as well into serious consideration and a decision has been made to cancel your visa.
Okay, I understand.
You are now refused immigration clearance and you are now being detained and will be removed from Australia as an unlawful non-citizen.
Sarita may also face a 3-year exclusion period from returning to Australia.
This is crazy. I'm a good person. But that's probably how everybody feels, even the bad people. So I'm not really upset about it. Like, I still get to go home, my family, and I'll be okay. I'll survive. But this is a really beautiful place. So I'm gonna be sad for a few years. I can't come here. So, yeah.
Caleb has just arrived at Sydney Airport, a little dazed and confused. Customs are concerned about his reasons for visiting and want immigration to do some further investigations.
Had 3 flights totaling over 20-some hours. Lots of layovers between each flight. It really sucked.
And his day is going to get a lot worse. Now immigration is about to delve deeper into Caleb's personal life.
My name's Yvonne. I'm an officer for the Department of Immigration here in Australia. I need to do an interview, it's called a bona fides interview, to find out the purpose and details of your stay in Australia. It's going to be taped. Can you please tell me why have you come to Australia and how long do you intend to be here?
I've come visiting a friend. Plan on staying about 2 weeks.
Okay, where are you going to stay while you're here in Australia?
Go stay at my friend's house.
Caleb has travelled across the world to meet a girl.
Just 2 college students happened to meet up online. She hasn't met anybody from US. I haven't been to Australia, so decided to take a roll of the dice.
It's a gamble that might not pay off for Caleb.
What funds have you got available to you while you're here?
About 100, and plus I have my Visa debit card.
Okay, what have you got available to you on the Visa debit card?
I'm not exactly sure. Probably $20, $30, but I have a $300 overdraft.
$100 for 2 weeks is really not very much money. How do you intend to support yourself?
I've stretched money worse than the situation I'm in now.
What will you do if, I guess, if you don't like the situation that you find once you get here and you find that you don't have a place to stay and you don't have enough money, what will you do then?
It's a risk coming here, but if that's the case, I'll come back and see if United can change my itinerary to leave as soon as possible.
Okay, be back soon.
Yvonne is sceptical about Caleb's story and needs to speak to her supervisor about her concerns.
He's a student in IT and he works at a pizza place.
Part-time job?
Yes.
Caleb's story has the immigration officers scratching their heads. Why would anyone travel across the globe with only the hope that someone they have never met will support them financially on their holiday?
Caleb, do you have a contact number for Cecilia?
She has a cell. I don't know what it is, though.
Would have been a good idea to bring it just in case.
I didn't think I needed it.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. I'll just see what we can do.
If immigration can't get in contact with Cecilia, Caleb's hopes of getting down to Melbourne may be very slim. Over in immigration, things are not looking good for Caleb. He is stuck in Sydney and officers won't let him go until they speak with his internet love, Cecilia.
Yeah?
Since originally she planned on meeting me at the United terminal over in Melbourne, couldn't you just call the counter over there and ask somebody?
Is that where you arranged as a meeting point?
Yeah. I don't know if she knows about my new flight that I'm probably missed also doing all this.
Okay.
But
all right, well, I'll give that a try then. Okay, the United counter at Melbourne Airport. Yes, hello, Rory. This is Yvonne calling from Immigration at Sydney Airport. I was just wondering whether you've had a phone call from someone who may be waiting for somebody from a connecting flight in Sydney?
Cecilia has been tracked down in Melbourne as she waits to meet her cyberspace man.
At this stage, all I want to do is I want to verify and make sure that he is in a position to enjoy a holiday without, without getting into trouble financially, I guess.
Lucky for Caleb that Cecilia has confirmed his story.
I met him over the internet about 2 years ago. We started emailing each other, and at the beginning of this year, he asked me for my number. I gave it to him, and he called me, and we've been chatting on the phone ever since.
But Yvonne still has her concerns.
What happens if this doesn't work out? What happens if they're not happy with each other and Caleb's left walking the streets of Melbourne with no money?
Tell her he doesn't have money beyond basically a day. If she's totally taken aback by the fact that he's basically only got enough money for a day or so, she better know up front what she's in for. Because then we'll know whether she's prepared to support him.
If Cecilia doesn't agree to support Caleb, he might find himself on a plane heading back to the States that afternoon.
I do need to put it to you. Basically, Caleb really only has enough money to support himself a day, maybe 2. Are you prepared to support him if the need comes up? Yes? Yeah? Are you certain that you're okay with that?
Caleb's sweetheart has given Yvonne the information she needs, and she says she will support him during his visit to Australia.
Bye.
Things have a weird way of working out, and even though I haven't met her, we both love each other very much. And I just need that closure of finally meeting her to solidify all the things that have been said and feelings and whatnot.
This interview is recommencing at 11:43. Caleb, I'm sorry to have kept you waiting, but Cecilia has backed up everything that you said. Yes. Okay, she says she's prepared to support you, to have you stay with her while you're here. And on that basis, we're going to let you go today, let you go and catch a connecting flight to Melbourne.
But believe me, I am psyched about that. I can't wait. It's just, I can't help but feel a little disappointed in some of the details, such as not having so much money on me, having to rely on her for support. That's never a nice thing, you know? Makes you look like a bum.
The past 2 years have been awesome. Got to know this guy based on his personality rather than on his looks. So on an emotional level, we connect, so it's good. Now I have to see what he looks like.
After a hiccup with his ticketing, Caleb arrived in Melbourne that afternoon. Although he was 6 hours late, Cecilia is still waiting for him.
I'm meeting a person I've never met after all. All I have is a fuzzy picture of him. So if anything, he's gonna have to spot me first. But I don't know how to react when he comes walking out through that gate. It's gonna be so surreal. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm great, how are you?
Oh, good. Are you tired?
I'm beyond tired, half dead.
Okay, let's get back home.
After spending 2 years of cyberspace sweet talk getting to know each other, it didn't take long for a crash to occur. Officer Barbara is about to question a nervous-looking passenger.
He is spending 3 months in Australia, going offshore, renewing his visa, coming back again for 3 months. And this has been going on for quite some time, intensively really since 2004. Why have you come to Australia this time?
Is it against the law that I've been here too often?
It depends really what your circumstances are. Are you working in Australia?
No, I'm not working.
Have you done
He's
any work
on a
at all?
tourist visa and immigration officers initially suspected he was here to work. But according to the passenger, they're way off the mark.
Recently, well, I met an Australian woman with whom I'm living at the moment.
Okay. What are you actually planning to do? Are you planning on living in Australia or?
Since I met Joanne, obviously I was thinking about some things that I might be living with her in the future or taking. But my plans are to go back to Europe at the moment as they are.
But officers are about to discover some strange twists with his relationship.
The claimed girlfriend has sponsored another person fairly recently on a spouse visa, and it's not the man I'm talking to.
So if the Australian contact is already sponsoring another man under a spouse visa, what is her relationship with this man?
The man that I'm interviewing has known her for 2 months, he claims, and is living with her.
It's vital that immigration speak to this Australian contact, but tracking her down is difficult.
I'd appreciate a call back. Thank you. Bye.
He is hiding something that he's not coming up with the information that we're asking, whether it's a fear of that he's going to get refused entry. So you met Joanne about 2 months ago, did you?
Yes.
Is she living with somebody else or just two of you?
We're just living together.
Just two of you?
She may have lived with somebody else before, but
not
I
now,
don't
not
know
at
the
the
person. I don't know him at all. And it's none of my business.
And finally, Barbara reaches the alleged girlfriend. But the news is puzzling.
What can you tell me about what Martin's doing in Australia? What's your relationship with him? He's your flatmate. So you're not in a relationship. You're not partners. Okay, so the three of you live in that accommodation. Right, okay. Now, does Martin work at all? Yeah, so he goes off every day as far as you're concerned to university. Okay, thank you for that. Okay, bye. I was certainly under the impression that he and Joanne were the only ones living in the accommodation and that Joanne was the reason that he was staying in Australia. So there's quite a big discrepancy there. She has told me that Martin is her flatmate and that three of them live there and that he's renting one room and that he's studying at university, which is not the purpose of a tourist visa. You told me before that that there's just you and Joanne in the flat?
Yes.
Yeah, so you're still quite clear on that?
Not what I know, obviously.
Is it a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship?
I never said that she's my girlfriend. She's not yet my girlfriend, and I don't know her well enough, obviously.
So when you see Joanne, she's not normally with another man, or?
I don't know. She knows somebody, some sportsman who she knows for some time, but I don't think he cares about her anyway.
People's relationship tangles are not a concern for immigration. However, being a student on a tourist visa is, so Barbara needs to gauge the real reason he's here.
Joanne's clearly of the opinion that you go off studying every day, and she's of the opinion that the person that she brought in as a flatmate or as someone to tenant the spare room was a student. So you must have given her that impression.
Obviously, I like the flat and I like the idea of living with a woman, so I was trying to, because I was turned down on some occasions as a flatmate, because I've got sort of personality problem that I don't easily make friends with people. That's why I felt very lonely in London.
It's up to Barbara now, along with her supervisor Jasvir, to determine the fate of this passenger, as providing misleading information is enough to cancel his visa and send him back to Europe.
He's now quite clearly trying to show that she doesn't deem him to be a partner, but he may still have some hope. As far as the study's concerned, I think he's represented himself to Joanne as a student, but I don't think he's actually doing any study. I think he's doing some library study.
After discussing the case with her supervisor, Officer Barbara needs to have a final word with the passenger.
We're not really satisfied with some of the information you've given us, and there has been, in my perception, some attempt to mislead me as an officer of the Department of Immigration. In future...
Okay, sorry if I didn't mean to mislead or anything. I was just trying to say what I believe.
In future, if you're questioned by an officer of any government department in Australia, then you need to give the correct information. Okay? And in truth, that's possible grounds for cancellation of your visa, but we're not cancelling your visa on this occasion.
Immigration doesn't really know why the passenger has lied about the relationship, so they've put it down to a simple case of unrequited love, which isn't an offence.
Okay, so you have caused trouble for yourself by misrepresenting yourself as a student to Joanne, and by some of the things you've said to me.
After all the uncertainty, Martin was allowed to enter Australia to enjoy his 3-month stay as a tourist.
Okay, good luck. Bye-bye.
This young American, returning from a quick 2-day trip to New Zealand, has already been questioned at the primary line, and officers want to speak to him further, as they have concerns he may be intending to breach his visa conditions.
Initial conversation with him, he stated that he's undertaken work on a farmer's market. He says he's a Mexican chef. He talks about having a girlfriend in Australia. He claims that she's an Australian citizen, so we'll need to get her details and verify that. We'll have to establish a relationship, how long it's been, where it's going, and basically if there's any other factors we need to consider.
So you know that you're currently here on a tourist visa, and from my understanding, you went across to New Zealand 2 days ago and have come back into Australia on that same tourist visa. Is that correct?
I reapplied for a new one, so that's why I went to New Zealand and reapplied for ETA, and it went through, confirmed, and I came back today.
Yeah. How long were you planning on staying in Australia this time?
3 months.
Having already spent an extended period of time in Australia on his previous visit, officers want to know why he has returned.
I understand that you have a girlfriend named Georgia, is that correct?
Yes.
And she's an Australian citizen?
Yes.
How long have you been in the relationship for?
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
So you've been a couple for 2 years?
Yeah.
And how did you meet?
through the internet.
Okay.
Even though the young couple has been in contact online for 2 years, they've only physically been together since he arrived in Australia a few months ago.
We just kept talking. It just clicked. Like, I really enjoy being with her. So now I'm here I moved here just to try to be with her.
What were your intentions when you returned to the US after these 3 months? Or were you ever intending to leave? You stated to our primary line officer that you've actually been working in Australia. Tell me a bit about that.
I work as a cook once a week at the Newcastle markets. It's just cash in hand. I've been working with food all my life. I like making food. It's an art. I like making art.
Do you realise that you're on a tourist visa and that working is a breach of visa conditions? Like, were you aware of that?
Not cash in hand.
Cash in hand is work. Work is work. It appears at this point that you have breached your visa condition in working.
With that admission, this young man may be headed for heartbreak.
I mean, I can bust out in tears, but I'm trying to hold back.
The thing is, he doesn't have a lot of money to support himself for this 3-month stay. He only came with 90 Australian dollars today. Yes, and that's one issue that I have.
Well, there is a clear breach.
Yes.
There's no doubt about that.
Yes.
He did undertake work and he did receive remuneration for that work. And it's actually his intention to continue to do so on his entry today.
Exactly. Okay, Caleb. After weighing up all of the information available to me, I was satisfied that the grounds for cancelling your visa outweighed the reasons for not cancelling. Your visa has now been cancelled. You are now refused immigration clearance. You are also now being detained and will be removed from Australia as an unlawful non-citizen.
Melbourne International Airport, Australian Border Force officers are about to interview a French citizen who has already spent 3 months in the country on a tourist visa and is now returning from a short trip away.
He's come from Bali. He's been in Bali for about a week. Prior to that, he was in Australia. He's returning down another tourist visa. So I'm just going to speak to him today to see what his plans are in Australia, seeing he spent a lot of time here.
The man says he intends to spend a further 2 months here, and with no work rights on his tourist visa, Officer Belinda wants to know how he is financing his trip.
So the reason for this interview is to find out the purpose and details of your travel to Australia. I'll ask a number of questions that you must answer truthfully. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Okay. So what are your plans here for the next 2 months?
To stay with my girlfriend, first of all. To stay in Melbourne a bit, travel in Sydney also, because I know people in Sydney.
So what was your girlfriend's name?
Misha.
How much money do you have for your stay here in Australia?
In dollars, maybe 4,000.
Concerned the man may be supporting his travel by working here illegally, Officer Belinda suspends the interview to take a look at his mobile phone.
Okay.
And she immediately locates some incriminating text messages.
Woohoo, just got the confirmation of my visa. I'll be able to work with you again. And sorry, you'll have to stand me for another 2 months. That right there suggests that he is coming back to work in Australia. And now I've just located a roster in his phone for what looks like a cafe.
And it appears he has returned just in time to get back to work.
It looks like he's supposed to go back to work in 2 days. And he'll be working full-time for 4 days. You know, on a tourist visa, that's not okay.
Officer Belinda will now confront the passenger with the evidence.
What's of concern to us is that we did locate the messages to say that you're going to be working back here in Australia. And you know you're on a tourist visa, correct?
Yeah.
You know that you're not allowed to work on that visa?
Yeah.
Yeah, Okay.
A cafe was just for a few shifts because like just when he need me, he put me on the roster.
Well, the roster suggested that you're working Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah, next week he would have need me.
Yeah, okay. And this is where you were working previously?
Helped them before, yeah.
Okay. So were they paying you in cash previously, or were you paying tax?
No, I paid in cash.
Paying cash, okay.
With this admission, the passenger is immediately issued with a notice of intention to consider cancelling his tourist visa.
This visa does not allow visitors to enter the labour market or undertake work that might otherwise be undertaken by an Australian citizen, permanent resident, or the holder of a temporary work visa.
The young man now has 10 minutes to come up with a response that will allow him to re-enter the country and see his girlfriend again.
If he does have compassion or compelling reasons to be working here in Australia, then we take that into consideration, but we'll just have to see what he has to say.
The main purpose of coming back in Australia under tourist visa was for visiting my girlfriend in Sydney. The fact that I received a message from a cafe putting me on the roster didn't prove I was going to work because it's something that I had to agree. So I didn't agree it yet. I haven't agreed, so it's not something that...
But you told me earlier that you were here to work at the cafe.
No, I said I came for visiting my girlfriend.
Yeah, but I've got it right here.
No, I said that I helped him before and I could going to help him again, but I haven't replied that I was confirmed I was working there.
Even though there's the message that says, I've got my visa, I'm coming back to work for another 2 months.
Yeah, that was a joke.
Okay.
Taking work from Australian citizens is no laughing matter, and a final decision is made on the passenger's visa.
I was satisfied that the grounds for cancelling your visa outweighed the reasons for not cancelling it. As your visa has been cancelled, you're being refused immigration clearance. You'll be removed from Australia as an unlawful non-citizen.
Yeah, but like, I wasn't going to work, really.
Okay. Well, I accept that you were actually going to work. I accept that you have a girlfriend here in Australia and you were going to visit her too, but I also accept that you were actually going to work here in Australia in breach of your visa conditions, and I lend more weight to that than I do you coming to visit a girlfriend.
Officer Belinda hopes this young passenger has learned a valuable lesson.
He is here to work full time. He stated that that was just a joke. I don't think that was actually a joke. I think it was serious, considering there was a roster that came after that.